Hey guys, it is time for a brand new spotlight on here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I have the Real ONeals, Matt Shively. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Spotlight On series. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ-TV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. I am your host, Yael Tygiel. I am so excited. The music is swelling. I'm excited to be with Matt Shively. Welcome.
I didn't know that was gonna be like the opening. I would have found something a little
No,
bit.
it's so good.
You put me on the spot. You were like, what's a song that pumps you up? So I instantly went for Queen.
Well, that's the correct answer.
It actually kind of goes really well with what's happening.
Yeah, I like
The
it.
build-up was pretty good.
It felt like a good build.
Yeah. There it is.
So good.
There it is.
And now we're free to chat. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm a big fan of the Real ONeals, and I feel like the show is so important right now. Not just like when it started, it was really important, but currently, this
within
week,
the past week,
yeah.
it has become more important. Yeah. It's one of the coolest things. I'm very fortunate to be on a sitcom that actually, has a really, really, really good message, and is also something that I think that the world needs right now. So,
yeah, that's so lucky.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I did.
And it's great that every week the episodes cover different things that are all so relevant, and that everyone can relate to.
Yes. I just play the dumb guy, so like I don't even remember what we do. I've slowly but surely started to become this character, which is not the greatest thing.
No, I was gonna ask you, how hard is it to play so dumb?
It was really hard at the beginning, and now it's really easy. It's getting easier and easier.
Why was it so hard at the beginning?
Because it's hard to be dumb when you're not dumb, and I'm very intelligent. So
well,
it
not
was
anymore,
difficult.
apparently.
No, honestly, it's actually it's come pretty easy to me the entire time. It's very easy to play dumb.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not the smartest person, so I'm just playing myself.
I feel like it's got to be really difficult to be in a situation because he says, oh, it's so great. He says like just the dumbest things.
Yeah, he's not smart by any means.
Do you draw from a real life person that you know?
Yeah, in the mirror. No.
Do you have self-esteem issues? Should we work on that?
Yeah, actually, that's why I'm here. No, I like to think that he's the younger version of like what Chris Pratt was in Parks and Rec, because he's very in touch with his emotions, but he's not in touch with things like he's not good with being smart. But as far as I always think that he's the most emotional of the entire family, and he actually understands emotions the most, whereas he doesn't really understand anything else.
Yeah. I really like that there are fans out there now making this fan theory that that Jimmy grows up to be on Parks and Rec. Like that's a fan theory.
We're gonna start that right now.
Yeah, that's happening right now.
Yeah,
it's
he changes his name to Andy Dwyer, and he ends up being on Parks and Rec.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it. I totally believe it.
Yep.
You started acting because you were inspired, I read, by Shia LaBeouf and even Stevens.
I made a mistake by saying that a long time ago because that follows me everywhere. But yes, I was.
Are you still inspired by Shia LaBeouf?
Of course I am. I mean, he's an interesting fellow. But I mean, he's one of, I think, the best actors that are alive right now. So, yeah, absolutely. And he's making a comeback, or as I think I read, a rebuff. I'm not even joking. I was reading an article and it was like Shia LaBeouf is having his comeback. We're calling it a rebuff, and I was like, wow, they really went for it.
I like that. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's having a rebuff.
Yeah, a rebuff.
I want to know what it was about even Stevens that inspired you, because that was like a really beloved show.
That to me is like, that's probably my favorite like kids show, even though it wasn't that much of a kids show. It was so good. The acting was just so good in the show, and just watching him, that was what kind of like the way I was being entertained by him was the reason that I wanted to then go out and entertain people.
Yeah. And you decided to go into comedy.
Sure. I didn't really have a choice. As an actor, you don't really have a choice as to what you want to do. You're just out there trying to like work as much as possible. And luckily, I think that I've always been funnier than I have been sad. So I've been fortunate enough to be working comedy more than drama.
That's really funny because I feel like I read somewhere about how much you love TV and film, but theater is still a place in your heart.
I love the stage.
Yeah.
That's just what I grew up doing. It was high school and junior high and stuff, but that was what kind of got me into wanting to act in the first place. The first time I did a show in like 4th grade, did the Polar Express, and I was like, the opening was just laying out on the stage, and I was like, I want to do this forever.
Lay on a stage.
Lay on a stage, yeah, exactly. If I can get paid to lay, that would be fantastic.
You're gonna write a one-man show.
One-man show,
lay on a stage.
and I'm just laying flat on a stage.
90 minutes.
At least 90 minutes. I might go for like just an epic Titanic version of 4 hours of just me laying on a stage.
I would watch that.
You'd watch about 12 minutes of it, and then you would take off.
I think I would take a nap.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this seems like a good time to
By
take
the
a
end
nap.
of the show, everybody in the audience is also laying on the floor.
That's a great show right
This is
there.
great. We're building.
Yeah.
We're building here.
Done.
Yeah.
We just wrote a Broadway show.
Boom.
Move over, Hamilton. I also know that you have musical talents.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
saw you play the keyboard.
Well, no, I'll tell you right now, I spent all week trying to learn that, and that is like the easiest song, and I can't multitask. Like I've tried to learn how to play guitar probably 4 or 5 times. I can't play drums. I can't play any instruments.
But you were in a band.
Yes, I was in a band, but I sang.
Ah.
I was in multiple bands growing up. It's embarrassing.
Because you can sing, but you can't play instruments?
No, because like I've gone through like every phase of music. So like for every phase, I was in a band growing up, and
Yeah,
like,
I read somewhere that you were at one point into screamo.
yeah, I was. That was kind of the start.
I'm
and
judging
then,
you,
and
just so you know.
please do. That was not a highlight of my life. But then I got like really into Metallica, and so I didn't go through puberty till I was like 17. So I had this really really high voice at all times, and I was in a cover band called Metal Jesus, spelt with a G. And all we did was cover Metallica songs, and I like didn't have the voice for it, but I tried. It was really embarrassing, really bad.
I really wish you would have covered Queen.
I should have.
'cause
I
you
had
have
the
the
voice for
voice,
Queen.
yeah.
I didn't have but I was so into Metallica that I was like,
How could
I'll
you?
go for it. It's a terrible idea.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, trust me, I am too.
But
It's
so
been-
you
it's been
weren't
15
actually
years.
playing the keyboard, or
No.
you?
I
so
was
heartbroken.
Yes, the sheet has been
Yeah,
peeled back.
The magic
I
of TV.
was playing it, but they for sure had to play a track over it because I like. There's a couple parts where I get off a note, and I think that is me actually playing it, but the rest of it is somebody else like played over it, for sure.
TV magic revealed right here.
It's really sad. I can't even play that song on the piano.
It's okay. Neither can I.
It took me 5 days. 5 days of preparation. They had a keyboard in my dressing room, like set up for me so that I could learn, and I couldn't do it.
I'm so disappointed.
Well, and that's
I
my
can't play,
roommate
it's
is
fine.
like a crazy musician, so it's like I walk home and I'm so jealous all the time. I walk in the door and he's just sitting there like playing guitar. I'm like, you're a dick.
How rude of him,
Right?
to be able to play an instrument.
He's on the way out. I'm trying to kick him out right now.
What other skills do you have?
I can juggle. I did learn how to juggle. If that's multitasking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lived kind of like a boring life because like all I've ever loved is movies and television and stuff. So like, I think like my one weird thing is I can usually tell what's on TV within like seconds of seeing it, whether I've seen it or not.
I have that same skill.
It's the weirdest thing because I actually am better at pointing out movies and stuff that I haven't seen. And I'll walk in and it's like a shot of sky and I'm like, oh, this is Lord of the Rings, great.
Yep.
It's because I was just raised only watching movies. I mean, I went and saw Bad Boys in theaters when I was 7 years old. So, anybody Bad Boys?
Yeah, everyone wants to be like Mike. I got it.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life is coming out next year. I'm so excited.
I also read, I think Just Jared Jr. did. Here are some fun facts about
Oh,
you.
you're gonna pull up the some facts?
I have some fun facts
Yeah.
about you riding
Yeah.
motorcycles.
What? Yes, I was very bad at it. I used to race bikes, like bicycles, and I was really good at that. I was placed like top 15 in the nation for my age
Wow.
group and stuff. So I was very good at that. But my stepdad was a professional motocross rider, and at one point was like, let's switch from bikes to motorcycles.
Let's grow up a little.
And I probably have knocked myself out like 7 or 8 times. Like I was not good at that. You feel like you're going so fast, like, and I'm racing around this track, and I'm like, I'm just going so fast, and then you watch back like the recording of it, and you're just barely moving. It was too scary for me.
I understand. Speaking of scary, you were in Paranormal Activity 4.
Was I?
I believe so.
Technically, that's real. That stuff is real. I don't know. I might still have an NDA out. I don't know if I'm allowed to say if I was in that movie. That was when that movie came out.
There was someone who looked just like you in this movie.
Well, when we started making that, it came out that I was in the movie, and I got in a lot of trouble. They like pulled me into the office, and they were like, "You can't tell people." And I was like, what do you want from... You just hired a kid who's been on Nickelodeon. Like, I'm not just like a random person that's never acted before. People find stuff out about me. So it was very top secret.
Oh, well, I don't think it is now.
No, it's definitely not now.
I was like, we can talk about this, right?
We can talk about it.
All
We're good at I'm comfortable talking about this.
Good. We're going to be taken out later.
Yes, we might be.
Oh, God. But this film was a strictly improvised...
Essentially, yeah.
How did that work?
They would, like, every day we would come in, and they would give us, like, 2 pages of dialogue. That was, like, very just, like, kind of blocky, like, nothing, you know. We never knew what we were shooting until, like, we had shot it all. And we ended up shooting the movie, like, I want to say, like, 3 times over in the span of, like, 2.5 months. And we finished actually shooting the movie 2 weeks before it came out. So it was, like... And then, like, going back and watching it, like, there's so much stuff that we did that's not in the movie. And there's, like, 3 or 4 different plots going on. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
So you didn't know what was happening when you were doing
essentially,
it?
No. And they would be like, all right, so we're going to have, like, you know, you're going to hear something upstairs. And that would be it. And, like, so we would hear, there'd be, like, this really big dude. He was like a bodyguard upstairs with a bass drum. And he would just slam the bass drum. And that's, like, our reaction to that. It's very weird. Was
that really incredibly challenging? Because it sounds incredibly challenging in terms of acting.
But it was so exciting because, like, as an actor who loves improv, that was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
To be able to, like, come onto this, like, set that's like a, you know, a huge movie. I mean, it's a huge franchise.
Yeah.
And be able to, like, say my own words is pretty awesome. And I filmed majority of that movie. Like, we had a guy who was supposed to be the photographer for it, but something went down, and they were like, well, why don't you just try it? Because that's why, because it was so hard to look at the person who's supposed to be behind the camera while somebody else is talking to you, especially an improvised thing. So you, like, it was so hard. You kept just, like, looking over at the person who's actually talking, and they're like, no, you have to look at the camera. So we ended up having it to where I ended up just filming majority of it. So that was another thing where it was like, this is really cool. I filmed majority of this movie.
Do you get a credit for that?
No, absolutely not. I don't think any can. But on the good side, I don't think anybody did. So
fine.
If I don't get credit, nobody gets credit.
Well, no one. There's no credit given in this theater. We're not doing that. So you love improv. Do you get to improvise on Real ONeals?
I do a little bit. They usually like that. I mean, Parks and Rec and The Office, those are like my favorite shows, and that's all so heavily improvised. But that's because of the way that it's shot that you're allowed to do that. But they've always been really nice about allowing me to kind of, like, I do it their way like 3 or 4 times, and then they're like, okay, if you want to just have fun on this one, and then we do that. And
how often are those in?
Pretty often, actually. There's a few. The Yes Queen, which was, like, really big this season, was something that, like, I was like, I want to say Yes Queen, and Noah was like, oh, you should do this, and we ended up using it, so that was good. That's the thing too, is it's so funny. Like, you have to time it all out so perfectly, and there's certain scenes that, like, go on for another page and a half where we're just messing with each other, and unfortunately, because of our time constraint, you can't. So they ended up cutting a lot of it out. But it's we have a very good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're a family? Everyone says that TV shows are like a family.
We actually are. We talk about this all the time.
Actually, you're not a.
No, we are actually a family.
Oh.
This is a documentary.
Adopted.
It's a documentary.
Okay.
Yeah. No. No. They. It's really, really weird. We joke about it all the time, but Christmas last year we had just finished filming, and I think BB was the one who actually counted it, but we sent like 250 texts to each other. Like, we have a group text, and it literally says the Real ONeals, and it's our group chat, And I think we talked to each other more on Christmas than we did our actual family.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and we have, like, you know, everybody has each other's backs. Like, it's a constant. It's really, really unique to actually love everybody that you're working with.
Yeah.
Because it's there's always one person that you're just like, but this has been the most amazing job because I've got no complaints, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
That never happens.
Have you been getting, I know that because the show is so important right now and in general to youth out there, have you been getting a lot of response? Because I know you're on Twitter.
Yeah, it's the cool thing is I mean, Noah gets most of it for obvious reasons, but the cool thing is that, like, at the end of almost every new episode, like, one or two people come out of the woodwork and are like, you know, I just watched this and it finally gave me the courage to come out to my parents. And I mean, I had a girl contact me, like direct messaged me and was like, you know, I'm bisexual and I want to tell my family, but I think that they will disown me. And so it was like this really difficult thing. And I'm thinking, like, how do I respond to this? Because I don't want to give somebody bad advice and lead them down the wrong road. Mm-hmm. So, like, I say the best thing I could. And then, like, 3 weeks later, she came back and was like, so you gave me the courage to come out to my sister. And she was really cool about it, blah, blah, blah. And, like, just saying all this stuff. And I was like, wow, this is insane that we really have that much of an impact on people.
Yeah.
That, like, they're actually listening to things I have to say. That's crazy.
Yeah. You don't get scared?
A little bit. I pick and choose because, like I said, I don't want to send somebody down the wrong path.
Right. There was an episode about that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, I would never want to scare somebody out of doing it or, you know, any of that. So it's a very touchy thing. Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad Noah is usually the one who has to deal with that stuff. But it's like, it's crazy that it actually has an impact that like it does.
Yeah. This show is so amazing, and I'm so happy that it's out there. But you also have a film, Summer of 8.
Yeah.
Tell me about this film.
Summer of 8 was like my raunchy well, no, it wasn't. I've done a few raunchy comedies now that I think about it.
It was the raunchiest of your raunchy comedies.
No, it actually wasn't. There was a movie I did where I was wearing an elephant thong for a good portion of it. So yeah, no, I don't know how anybody still hires me. I've got some weird stuff in my bank. No, Summer of 8 is like a story about these eight kids who, it's the night before they all leave for college. And so it's all takes place on the beach and in one of their backyards. And it's kind of just a final day in the life of all these people, and seeing, you know, some of them are breaking up with each other while others are, you know, coming to terms with the fact that they're not going to be together anymore and all that kind of stuff. So that was a really special movie because I've got to work with a lot of people who I think are going to be absolutely huge someday. I mean, Shelley Hennig, Bailey Noble, Carter Jenkins, Nick Marini, all like, they're all so good. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, there was a scene we had to do that was 7 pages long, and we did it all in one take.
Wow.
And when you're dealing with 8 people sitting around each other and, like, going back and forth with each other while also kind of improvising a little bit here and a little bit there, and we did, like, the entire scene. I mean, we definitely did more than one take, but we did it in one take. And I literally, at the end, was like, I looked around and I was like, I am so blessed to be around you guys right now. And they were like, oh, thanks. And it's like, no, but seriously, like, it's crazy. It was kind of like shooting like a stage show, because it was just it was crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is awesome too. I've always wanted to do like indie drama, and I'm the only funny one in it, and I definitely do plenty of stuff, but it was really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, well, Summer of 8 is currently available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and Vudu. Go check that out for sure.
Get it.
And the Real ONeals on ABC. Oh my gosh, I love this show so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Everyone, please make sure you are checking out the Real ONeals on ABC.
And also, if you don't, I will find you.
Yeah. And Matt, why don't you tell people where they can find you on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff?
Twitter, I'm at Matt Shively 1 for reasons of I made at Matt Shively like 4 or 5 years ago and then forgot the password and haven't been able to get it back yet.
Yep.
And then Instagram, I'm Matt Shively.
Oh, yeah. You should add a 1 there.
I should.
Yeah.
No, I like to be different on every site.
I see. I'm Yael Tygiel. You can find me everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I also have a podcast. It's called Intimate Interrogations. Sometimes it is filthy. Sometimes it is not. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.